to the website later.
I didn't hear them. Sorry.
I'm going to upload a version of the slides to the website, so they're going to be there for download after the session's over.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yep.
And I'll mention that when after I get introduced.
Just waiting for a moment for Don to join.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's Don. So Don, you need to start.
Okay, go ahead and start.
Yes. So share your screen.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. We'll try it this way.
There we
Close.
go.
Okay, great.
Everything okay?
If you're all ready, I'll go ahead and start with some introductions, Don and Ross. Work.
Okay, that works.
Yeah. Well, I'll just start by saying thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Really do appreciate you taking some time out on a Sunday to join us. My name is Rich Falsgraf. I'm the president of the National Eagle Association. And I just again want to thank you for joining us tonight for everything you want to know about NESA. We've got a lot of people that have joined tonight, for this very special session. And I want to introduce Ross Arnold. Ross is the Vice President of Training for the National Eagle Scout Association. Ross coordinates all of our training, including the one that you're going to see this evening. So without further ado, Ross, let me turn it over to you for tonight's session.
Good afternoon or good evening, depending on what part of the country that you're in. Again, my name is Ross Arnold, and I'm the Vice President of Training. I'll make this quick. I have the privilege of introducing Don Harris, who'll be hosting this, or excuse me, presenting this information. If you have any questions, the best place to put them is in the chat. There are people who are in the back room. I guess I'm in the back room with a bunch of other people, and we are going to answer your questions to the best of our ability. We're going to turn off our cameras, and so Don is the focal point. The question that always comes up every time I do these presentations is, are we going to get a copy? There will be a copy posted in the NESA website, on the NESA website, right after this presentation. You can download it. But let me share with you, the expectation is that you're sharing this information with the people in your own council, including not just people on your committee, but also people who are part of your council executive board, your key three, and even your board itself. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Don, who's a longtime member of the Scouts, 40 plus years, I assume, has the NOESA Eagle Scout, of course, who will share with you his information, insights, and some information that you'll find very useful. So Don, it's all yours.
Russ, thank you so much for the introduction, as well as Rich. Thank you as well. So with that, what I want to do is tonight I'm going to be covering an overview of what you need to know about the National Eagle Scout Association, or NESA for short. Okay. All right. So from the agenda standpoint, I'm going to be covering a little bit of the history of how we got to NESA, structure of the organization, some statistics about Eagle Scouts, and the value proposition of what NESA and Eagles are asking for. What is the benefits of being a member of NESA? And then finally, questions and answers that you might have and where you can go and get some answers. So first of all, what I'm going to do, and Kendra, if you can say, once you see the hands, I'm going to ask people to raise their hand via the presentation mode. So who's heard of NESA before this presentation? If you can raise your hands. So I see about 38 participants have raised their hands. So that's a good show of folks that have actually, and obviously I have as well. So 39, 40 people. So that's imperative because what we want to try to do is reach out to more folks that are currently in the scouting movement, but also invite Eagles that may have stepped back after graduating from high school and college and re-engage them back in the program. And I'll get into that in a little bit of how we can do that throughout the presentation. One of the things on most of the slides, there'll be a QR code in the lower left-hand corner that will be able to answer some of your questions after the presentation or after the seminar to navigate to the NESA organization website. So as far as the NESA evolution, one of the things that there are, at least from the information that was passed on to me, understand that in April of 1925, a Boy Scout executive named Raymond Hanson, Knights of Anonymous, or KD for short, is actually where the organization, the precursor to the current NESA organization. There were several other councils throughout the U.S. from 1925 to 72 that actually had a local Eagles gathering to further help the leadership, develop youth leadership. In 1972, the KD organization, as well as other local councils or councils, Eagle organizations throughout the council, were merged into scouting. And in 72, the National Eagle Scout Association, or NESA for short, was combined with KD and other local groups to become the official fraternal scouting organization. So on this slide are the recent known presidents of NESA from 72 and what term years they served. Now, I'm fortunate I've been able to personally talk to about 5 or 6 of the folks that are past presidents and the current president, Rich. So it's great if you get a chance to get to know them, and you may in the chat want to reach out and say hi to Rich for joining us this evening or this afternoon, depending upon where you are. Okay, on the next slide, Joe. Okay, why is it just there? Okay. Is the organization for the NESA National Executive Committee. So we have Rich as the president, and then you have the executive officer, volunteer at the top in the red box, and then Joe Zarello, the director, the professional staff director. And then to the right of that, with the green box going to the various different VPs. And sorry for the eye test that we have on this. This is one of the things we as an organization will have to clean it up for future presentations. So some of the groups that we talked about briefly on the introduction, Ross is the VP of training, and we have the Glenn Adams, who is the VP over a couple of the key awards, Distinguished Eagle Scout, and also the NESA Outstanding Eagle, also communications and marketing, finance and scholarships with Dave Ehrlich, and Bruce Hamas is the VP of retail operations. I happen to be wearing one of the polos that has the Outstanding Eagle on it just to show mark some of the things. So I'm not trying to promote anything, but if you are at a gathering and you want to try to strengthen, and someone said, well, do you have anything that we can promote? Well, this is one way to do it. From the professional side, as I mentioned, Joe's the director. Matthew, Kendra, and Kaylee are, Matthew's the program manager. Kendra's the senior digital campaign specialist, and Kaylee is the fundraising specialist. So from a membership update aspect, so far as of 12/31/2023, there's been over 750 Eagles. Eagles earned in 23 are 29,000, approximately of the almost 400,000 scouts in Scouting America. Female scouts, female Eagles amount to almost 2,000 of 169,000 of total female youth in the program. Now, as far as councils that have a NESA committee, there's 172 out of 242 total. Now, one of the items that had happened previously is we had a survey done, and I wasn't involved with the survey myself, but this is some of the results that were captured. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. This survey was done in July of 2021, and the key thing that came out of this, that the members indicated that they were more concerned about giving back to the organization that they earned their Eagle from, also protecting it for future generations, and they were more focused on that than what does NESA do for them personally. So how can NESA help give back? So there's 6 key areas that I'm going to focus in on this slide. Is what is NESA? What it basically is are committees that are organized from the local council all the way up through the national organization. We are an association of Eagle Scouts. The mission is to identify, provide, and encourage Eagle power, which means providing Eagle Scout leadership to local councils via local committees to strengthen the scouting power of the volunteers. Why is it important? Well, that's a double-edged question. There's two sides of the coin. One side is why is it valuable from a scout executive standpoint? Why do I need NESA? That's one of the questions he or she is going to have. The other thing is, from a volunteer standpoint, what are the tools that we as the national NESA and local NESA chapters can give to the volunteers to provide tools to help the scout executive promote scouting in their area? And then the next question is, where is NESA? The first question obviously is there a NESA committee in my council if I don't know that already? How do I go about finding out? And how do I join or start a committee if I don't have a committee that I can find? Next key point is, what's in it for me? Why should I feel the compelling to join? Well, there's 2 key reasons. One is to gain additional professional contacts for your professional and volunteer network, because you never know when someone may be able to open a door for you. The second key thing is to strengthen your leadership and service skills that are transferable no matter where you go, both professionally and volunteer-wise. And then the last 2 items is, how can I help? Well, you can get involved with the local NESA committees by helping the selection committees that determine scholarships, the Glenn Adams Eagle Scout Project of the Year, and other local committee selection and recognitions. Where do I go about getting more information? On this slide, as you see in the lower left-hand corner, is the QR code that will take you to the NESA organization and on the website, and you can go ahead and do a search for whatever category or information you're looking for. Scholarships is one key area. I'll let you go ahead and read the details on it. What I'm going to cover is some other key points that were not on the slide. Eagle Scouts can apply for a NESA scholarship beginning their senior year. of high school through their junior year of college. Recipients can receive a scholarship only one time. The scholarships are available for Eagle Scouts attending a four-year school, university, vocational trade school, or other approved programs. The NESA scholarship is not available to students that are attending any of the military academies. Also, NESA scholarships are not available to graduate students working on their master's or doctorate degree. Now, the NESA scholarships for Eagle Scouts are for those that have shown active participation in school, scouting activities, and community service, demonstrate that they understand the fundamentals of service and leadership to the community, scouting, and also have great character. They should also demonstrate that they have if they have a financial need, why are they distinguished among others that have a financial need for them to be selected or to have odds of greatly being selected. From the local council committees and events, here's some of the key things. Obviously, as I'd mentioned before, networking, recognizing youth and adults for their achievements and service recognitions, and then also for volunteer opportunities. So in the networking area, you have things that the Eagles of all ages can get together for lunches and dinners in a specialty niche of a particular profession. It's also leadership development, I said, and it's also gives them a chance to mentor or opportunities to mentor younger youth also on the way to Eagle and also recent Eagle Scouts as they pursue what they want to do in their careers. Achievement and service is obviously through the nominations start out with for the Distinguished Eagle Scout, which I'll talk about later, but locally, you also can nominate folks for the NESA Outstanding Eagle Scout Award, the Silver Wreath, the leadership, and other leadership recognitions. Again, the key thing is volunteer opportunities for service projects and philanthropy in the local area. The local council committees is the most tangible way to join NESA and provide great opportunities of service and giving back and or paying it forward, as many of you have heard. Now, membership, there's three main focus areas that I'm going to cover here. There's a 5-year membership for 100, lifetime membership for 500, and then for each of those, for Eagle Scouts that have just recently passed their board of review within the last 6 months, they are entitled to a 15% discount. Oh, and by the way, for the lifetime membership, the square knot for the Eagle shows the silver mylar border, which stands out to show what the difference is between an Eagle Scout and that of one that is supporting the NESA lifetime achievement or lifetime member. The Glen A. and Melinda W. Adams National Eagle Scout Service Project of the Year is the key purpose is to find exceptional service by an Eagle Scout candidate that has completed it for as an Eagle Scout project, and the winner of that particular council may or may not receive a particular dollar amount. It all depends upon the local council. There is a miniature device that goes on the square knot, and for the council level, it's bronze. For the territory winners, all of the councils then submit their winners to the territory national, where territory winners will be selected, and the winner will receive $300 plus also a gold miniature device for their square knot. And then the winners from the territory then go on and are selected as the national winner, and that national winner gets $3,500 plus also the silver device to distinguish the difference. we mentioned in the past, I'm going to next cover 5 or 6 different recognitions that you as a member of the local NESA committee and or council can also recognize folks that are well-deserved. The first one is the NESA Distinguished Eagle Scout Award, or DESA, and it was established in 1969 to recognize scouts or Eagle Scouts that have been in their career for 25 years or more. And they provided extraordinary service, fame, professional service, and this at a national or international level. The key thing is, and they also, one of the other factors of being selected is having a strong record of volunteer service to their community. The Outstanding Eagle, or NESA, which is NESA Outstanding Eagle Scout Award, was established in 2010 as a means to be able to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Boy Scouts of America, now Scouting America. One of the things that at the national level they realized is that there were some really great candidates that could be recognized, and that they just didn't have the bandwidth to be able to do that. So they figured, okay, how can we identify someone maybe not quite the same level of the Distinguished Eagle, but the Outstanding Eagle, based on their high honor, their distinction in their professional service, either locally, area, state, or territory level. And again, another key part of it is they need to be able to demonstrate a significant record of volunteer service to their community. And that can be inside or outside of scouting. The NESA Distinguished Service Award, or DSA for short, is established in 1976 to recognize those that have given in 3 major categories. One or 2 major categories one is lifetime extraordinary leadership and service nationally to NESA, which results in a significant impact to the national or territory levels. One of the things that is also looked at is what is the sustained period of service to NESA promoting Eagle Scouts, active and or Eagles returning to scouting, promoting and helping people that are on their trail to earning Eagle. And one last point is up to 5 awards may be presented at Scouting's national annual meeting every year. The NESA Silver Wreath Award is a means of being able to recognize at the local council and active NESA committee that they have individuals leadership or service by committee members which are in good standing for at least 2 years with NESA. 2 awardees can be selected based on that. And again, the operative word is it has to be an active NESA committee. So if you don't have a committee that is active, then that's one of the major criterias. The Legacy Society, NESA has a Legacy Society in addition to the James E. West Fellow. You're able to donate for those that have the ability to give, to be recognized, to have legacy a society to establish to help individuals who are directly contributing to the National NESA Endowment Fund to support Eagle Scouts scholarships, the NESA Committee service grants, and other activities. The key thing is all contributions to the Legacy Society are in addition to what the strongly recommended support to their local council's fundraising programs, whether that's capital, whether that's the capital, the endowment, or the local operating budget. So again, it's not only just what you do nationally, but also make sure that you present to the local council to help them continue to be strong. Okay, this is my detailed information with my phone number and email. So please, if you have any further questions that are not answered, we can go ahead and I'll be glad to answer them or get them to the right people that have the answers if I do not know that. Again, the navigate to the NESA organization is there on the bottom QR code. The top QR code is if I have a favor to ask of everybody in attendance, if you can use the QR code to fill out a post-webinar survey. So with that, what I would like to do is open it up to questions from the field, and I will stop sharing.
Hi, everyone. Real quick, I just wanted to say you can drop your questions into the Q&A section. And as those come in, we can, the panelists here can unmute ourselves and answer those live. Participants are not able to unmute. Thank you.
Oops.
Okay, so it looks like a question came in. How many council NESA committees are actually active? Ross, Dawn, or any other panelist can come off of mute and answer those.
Right now there's 172 that we know of. The people that reach out to these committee chairs are from the council support committee as part of alumni. So they're supposed to be checking in with the chairs of these committees or the scout executives or the advisor to the committees. If you're not sure if your council has an alumni committee or a NESA committee, you can certainly reach out. Each part of the country has a coordinator. I'm the coordinator for the Western Territories, which consist of 1, 3, and 8. And we'll be happy to tell you. Every time we have a communication with a council, we always ask them the same question: has there been any changes with the leadership of your committees? There was another question. There was a question about, is this going to be available, the presentation? Absolutely. If you go to the NESA website after this presentation, which should be around 4 o'clock, it should be posted.
There was another question in the chat that was, who's the group that selects the DESA award? The DESA committee is actually anonymous, but the chair of that committee is Glenn Adams.
And likewise, what I'll do at the local council level, which I'm also part of that review selection processes, we communicate that out to all of the troops and both the female and male Eagle Scout, recent Eagle Scouts for that year, and said you can submit your self-nominate or have someone from your troop nominate you to be considered for the top project. So then our committee, we have a deadline. Once that deadline occurs, then we go through and screen all of the projects, for the top one for our council, and then we forward that on to the National Office for Territory Review and National Review.
Yeah, I would like to clarify. Don was talking about the Adams Award, not the DESA. The DESA is a separate committee outside of the territory winners. So there's each council has their own process for Adams, but the DESA is an anonymous committee at the national level. Thank you.
Yep.
Someone asked an interesting question about you're not sure if your NESA committee is active. This will be a great conversation to have with your key 3 of your council. First, I would suggest have a conversation with the chair of your NESA committee. Is probably the first person you want to talk to. If you don't know who that person is, you can certainly ask your scout executive or the key 3. They'll know who that person is. it's important that the key three are involved with the selection of the chair, and also that they monitor that the committee is supporting the program of the council. The NESA coordinators. What's the best method to contact these people? When you're talking about NESA coordinators, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about the alumni coordinators? This is anonymous, so I don't know who asked the question.
So Ross, I'll respond to that.
Thank you.
So when you go to the NESA website, you can find the list of committees list of councils who have committees, and that lists the committee chair and the staff advisor if they have one. And then you can use the alumni directory, which is linked there, to look up their contact information as well. So if you're looking for that point of contact for that council, that's who that would be. And then there's another question that I'd like to respond to. Is there still a NESA monthly magazine or digital magazine available? Unfortunately, no. We lost our capability to produce a printed Eagles Call magazine during the bankruptcy process. However, last spring we began producing a digital newsletter called the Eagles Call Insider to meet that need. That's one of the many ways that our communications team is reaching out and communicating with our members. We've also started the Give Your Eagle Pride a Purpose on the website, to where you can go on and share your stories about, maybe you have 3 generations of Eagle Scouts in your family and you want to share that. That was a very popular feature of the Eagles Call magazine that we've continued just in a digital format. Then the same person asked about neckerchiefs in our store. So right now we have the print-on-demand store, which you can get a polo shirt just like Don is wearing this evening. But Bruce Amos is leading our task force to get additional items like neckerchiefs that will be available in the NESA collection on the scoutshop.org website. And that's where our collectible items such as the neckerchiefs and other NESA unique items will be found.
And if I can add to that, Bruce has put in the Q&A his contact information. He is also the coordinator for the Central Territory, excuse me, throwback. But he's also the vice president of the store, the NESA store. So if you have questions about either of those things, there's his contact information. Okay. Council exec, that's true. Okay. Oh, James Clark has asked a really good question. What's a good way to engage your young generation of Eagle Scouts? Well, I should tell you, we're also struggling with those things. I have been for many, many years of how to keep our older Scouts involved with scouting. One of the first things I would suggest is maybe get a few of them together, maybe over a burger or something, and ask them that question. What would keep you engaged in scouting? One of the things I've discovered, they're very interested in careers. One of the things that I know a number of councils have done, and we did it at the Jamboree, is having panel discussions in different job sectors. In my own council, we've had one on first responders, we've had one on law, we've had one on the medical field, and the Scouts seem to enjoy participating in those and talking to professionals. As part of all of these, we always talk about networking, building your network, thinking about your resume, how to do a resume. Oh, by the way, a resource, I don't know how many of you in your own councils have Explorer posts. I imagine many of you do. They actually have lesson plans for putting on workshops on how to do a resume, how to do a cover letter, how to interview. And so you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. The Exploring program already has this on their website. But that's a good way to get involved.
To take Ross's comment a step further, is you can actually have maybe some mock interviews so the candidate gets used to doing a job interview or an intern position interview so that they're not feeling extremely awkward and nervous. So have them help as a mentor to help them develop their interviewing skills as well.
Greg asked an interesting question. Why don't council support NESA by having a NESA committee? That would be a great question to ask your scout executive. Every council's different. There are, I think right now there are 243 councils, and they're all different. We got big councils, little councils, councils that represent the entire state. We have some councils that represent multiple counties. So they're all different with different needs, weaknesses, strengths. And one of the things that a NESA committee should be doing is looking at those things and see how they fit into the program of your council. We are not independent contractors. We're volunteers just like the rest of you guys.
And along with the slide, it happens to be slide 8. One of the things is how does NESA give back? One of the things I addressed is what is this scouting executive looking for, and how can the NESA committee and other volunteers from the committee help meet that need? And then likewise, what does the committee need, and how would you get more people to get involved? So showing a value added, or what's in it for me, why should I get involved? And obviously we talked about networking and developing your leadership skills as 2 ways to help that.
We got a statement from Bill Kropa, asking about information about scholarships. Just so happens very recently, NESA put on a workshop, a Zoom workshop on how to apply for scholarships. Matt, was that posted on the NESA website? Or Trevor?
Yes, that has been shared on the NESA website, and I'll respond directly to Bill's question with a direct link to that information.
Thank you. Someone asked a question about the NESA fees. My suggestion would be to reach out to Michael Thompson, who is the Vice President of Membership.
One of the questions from Brenda is how do you keep the older youth programs like Venturing and Sea Scouts engaged? Well, as you have Life Scouts and working towards Eagle and Eagle Scouts, they can also help promote the Venturing and Sea Scouts, and as Ross had mentioned, also the Exploring. So for the older youth programs, there's quite a few areas that you can get into besides where as a NESA or as an Eagle Scout or NESA member, you can definitely strengthen that so that you can work towards and get mentors for workforce development to help everybody to find their passion in their fields of study.
Someone asked a question, Mike asked a question about if the council has a NESA committee but does not have a district committee, should we go about setting one up? Before you do something like that, my strong suggestion is meet with the NESA committee, or at least the chair and the advisor, to talk about what are the needs of your council. I don't want to no one wants to give a blanket statement saying every council should do it a certain way. Your council needs to do it the way that fits the program of your council. And the best place to start that is talk to the people who are already doing it and ask how you can support what they're doing. I know there's a council here in California where I live, and they actually have one NESA committee, and they have 2 subcommittees because they work in 2 different counties.
One Bill Bridgeforth actually makes a comment about SAR giving $25,000 in cash for scholarships, which opens up, flag my memory is there's multiple scholarships out there in addition to what NESA has. So strongly recommend the youth look out, do the Google search, all that, because there's a lot of opportunities that go tapped each year. So reach out to everything you can.
Because of the numbers and the time, we probably aren't not going to be able to answer all the questions, but we'll do the best we can. But if you still have a question or you come up with a question afterwards, please go to NESA@scouting.org and we will continue answering your questions. We actually have a group of people who monitor that particular site, and they'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you, Matthew.
There was a great question from Charmaine that I just really wanted to hit quickly. If you have any questions about applying for scholarships, we actually did a training with Dr. Spencer Long that is uploaded on the NESA website. If you know an Eagle, that resource.
And my suggestion is have the Eagle Scout and the parent watch the video. It's very helpful.
There is a question, and Matt, maybe you can have, Matthew, if you can maybe answer this from Greg Norhagen. I'm trying to register with Spark and got kicked back to my scouting. On that, how do I find Spark?
Sure. So Spark is just directory.scouting.org. You do use your my.scouting username and password if you're currently registered to use the directory. So when you log in, there's a sign-in button, but if you're not currently registered, there's a create an account button that will allow you to set up a username and password. And that directory is very helpful, where you can go in and update your preferences and your affinities and your affiliate groups, so that when the council committees are working to reach out to a specific group of folks, they'll know that, hey, you're part of this affinity or that affiliate group as well. So Spark is a great tool, and we continue to refine and work that going forward. If you are continuing to have a specific issue with it, feel free with your personal account. Feel free to send an email to me at NESA@scouting.org, and I'll be happy to work with you one-on-one for that.
I'm going to ask a question because I get this question so often. When I was a scout, I had one number, and then I became an adult leader, and I got another ID number. And when I go into the NESA page to see if I'm registered as a life member, because I paid for life membership, I can't seem to find it. So, Matt, what should I do?
Sure, Ross. And actually, our IT team just ran an update this week that should resolve that problem, addressing the multiple member ID issues. Your NESA membership is tied to your youth BSA member ID. And so if you log into Spark and you don't see it, click on your name in the top right corner, and it says Manage My Member ID. And that will show you all the member IDs associated with your username. If your Youth Eagle member ID is not there, send me an email at NESA@scouting.org, and I will reply with you after I find your Youth Eagle record and let you know what that is, so you can associate with that member ID with your current username, and then your NESA membership should display. However, as long as it is now, it doesn't have to be set as your primary. Our IT team has corrected that issue as of Thursday, so that's really good news. Clear as mud for you, Ross.
Thank you. I'm sure I'll get that question a few more times, maybe even today. Are there any other questions that we can answer? May I give a suggestion? This actually, I thought it was a brilliant idea. I got this idea from actually Trevor Bowerman, that does your NESA committee have a subcommittee looking to nominate people for the Distinguished Eagle Scout Award? The hardest thing to do is not finding people who deserve the award. The hardest thing is finding people who are willing to do the work to nominate people. There's lots of people in scouting who've done some really outstanding stuff in their community, in their state, in their territory, and even nationally. And the only reason they haven't been nominated because no one's nominated them. And I thought that was just a brilliant idea to have a subcommittee just focused on that.
And that's a good point, Ross, is I've heard this comment. A few people said, well, Ross already has X, whatever the award is. Well, don't always believe what you hear. Go verify from a second source to make sure that that is correct, because there are some really good nominees that have been overlooked because people assume that they've already been selected in the past. So continue to do your due diligence.
Is there any other questions we can answer? Or did we really beat this horse to death?
Hi, folks. I just want to step in and reiterate that, yes, we are recording this session, and this week we'll make that recording available online, and you'll receive a follow-up email that will include a link to the webinar that you can watch or share with maybe someone that was not able to attend that had originally planned to.
There is one other question, and I meant to mention that, and it was an oversight. December 1st is going to be the next topic presented by Ross Arnold on establishing, building your council's alumni or NESA committee. So that's in basically 2 weeks. And also there is so December, January, February, April, and May, there's topics for each one of those months. So there's a schedule for that out there, for what the different topics are for both NESA and the alumni organization.
And we'll continue to do those in this this same format. So we'll activate a pre-registration link that you'll be able to find via our social channels or on the NESA website. Pre-register and then anticipate getting a recording of the session afterwards.
One thing I'd like to add, we did touch on the awards. We didn't go into much depth, but I do want to mention that a number of these awards are time bound. In other words, for example, the Silver Wreath, if your NESA committee of your council is planning on nominating people for that award, or one person or two people, depending on the size of your council, those applications need to be in by the end of the year with all the signatures. And as Don has shared with you, you need to have a NESA committee to nominate people for those awards. So any of the people in the panel have anything else to add?
No, I just want to reiterate, again, if your questions weren't answered here tonight, or you think of something after the fact, you are more than welcome to email the NESA inbox. So that's nesa@scouting.org for assistance, especially if you're having a hard time accessing Spark, or would like to check on the status of your NESA membership. Or maybe you haven't received the Eagles Call Insider newsletter. We can help you get subscribed to that if it's not hitting your inbox. And we appreciate everyone's time. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Anyone else? If there's no other comments from the panel and no other questions, I want to thank everyone for your participation. I hope to see you again in 2 weeks, same time, same format, but we're going to focus on creating or establishing a committee. And with that, I want to thank everyone who has helped. Oh, I do want to thank the alumni office, national. We did this last time and we discovered that we can do it better as a webinar than a meeting, and National stepped up and provided us the resources to do this. So I want to thank everyone at National for their support, giving up part of their weekend to be with us. So thank you guys.
Definitely, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And with that, I guess we can conclude. So Kendra, are you going to close it out? Oh, there we go. Let's see what this thing is.